All right, let's pull back the curtain on something massive that's happening to the internet right now. It's being called the Great Ad Reset. And believe me, it is completely changing how you, your data, and the ads you see online interact with each other. You totally know that feeling, right? You're just talking about something, and then bam, just moments later, an ad for that exact thing pops up on your screen. It feels a little like magic, or, maybe something a little creepier. For years, this has all been powered by this tiny little thing called a third-party cookie. The best way to think of it is like a digital shadow that follows you all over the web, just taking notes on everything, your interests, your habits, your purchases, all to build this incredibly detailed profile of you. Well, that whole world is basically falling apart. The very foundation that digital advertising was built on is being reset from the ground up. And the big question is, why now? What's going on? Okay, so that brings us to the first big piece of the puzzle. We've got to understand exactly why this digital cookie is finally crumbling. It really boils down to two huge forces colliding. On one hand, you've got this global demand for more user privacy, which has led to big laws like GDPR over in Europe that give people way more control over their data. And on the other hand, the tech giants themselves, the companies that make our web browsers, are getting rid of support for these tracking cookies. So as you can imagine, this 1-2 punch has sent some serious shockwaves through the advertising industry. It's created a massive privacy reckoning and, honestly, a ton of uncertainty. Get this, a staggering 88% of advertisers and publishers are expecting these privacy changes to have a moderate to significant impact on their ability to serve you personalized ads. This is not a small ripple, folks. This is a tidal wave hitting the industry. And that concern isn't just a little bit of worry. When you dig into that 88%, you can see that the vast majority expect a moderate or even significant blow to their business. The anxiety is real, and it is spread all across the board. So where is the biggest pain point? Well, a full 61% of people in the industry think the biggest hit is going to be to audience targeting, which, ironically, is the exact thing third-party cookies were designed to do so well. You see, it's not just about losing one piece of technology. What marketers are really facing is a perfect storm, a whole bunch of different, overlapping challenges all hitting at the exact same time. Now, let's be fair. Change is nothing new for marketers. I mean, look at this timeline. They've been rolling with massive Google updates for over a decade, from big shifts in content quality to the whole move to mobile first. But what's happening today? It's just on a completely different level. They're fighting a battle on multiple fronts. There's way less data available. There's this confusing mess of new privacy laws to keep up with. The cost of just staying compliant is going up. And on top of all of that, there's a huge gap in the skills needed to actually handle this new reality. And that skills gap isn't just about the technical stuff. This quote from a marketing director really gets to the heart of the frustration. In an industry that's suddenly all about building trust, things like professionalism and clear communication are becoming just as important as data skills, and apparently, they're really hard to find. But hey, every big challenge forces innovation, right? So let's dive into the new playbook that's starting to emerge for this cookieless future. Okay, the big fundamental shift is this. We're moving from a world of surveillance to a world of consent. The old way was all about tracking you everywhere you went online. The new way is built on something called first-party data. That's simply the information you willingly and directly give to a brand you trust, like when you sign up for a newsletter or tell a shopping site your preferences. So the new path forward really has three main steps. First, you have to build real, trusting relationships with your customers to get that valuable first-party data. Second, you use artificial intelligence to make sense of all that data and deliver personalization at scale. And third, you have to get really good at contextual targeting. That's showing ads based on the page you're looking at right now, not what you did last week. And if you look at the data, the industry is already making this shift. 35% are jumping on first-party data, and another 29% are focused on contextual. But check out that third bar. A pretty big chunk, 16%, are still just not sure. And that really shows you how new and confusing this whole transition still is for a lot of folks. This is exactly where AI becomes the hero of the story. Over 63% of marketers are convinced that AI is the absolute key to making targeting work in this new privacy-first world. It's going to be the engine that makes sense of all that consensual data and contextual clues.
So, okay, we've talked a lot about the industry side of things, but what does all this actually mean for you and your daily life on the internet?
Honestly, your online world is about to get better. Ads are going to become more relevant to what you're doing in that exact moment, like seeing an ad for hiking boots while reading an article about national parks, instead of an ad that's following you around because you searched for something a week ago. Brands are going to have to work way harder to actually earn your trust, and the whole digital world is moving toward being more open and, well, sustainable. So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? The end of the cookie is not the end of ads, not even close. It's the start of a whole new chapter. We are finally moving away from a model that felt a lot like digital surveillance and stepping into one that promises a smarter, more respectful web for every single one of us. The core question for brands is no longer what we can track, it's what value can we provide.